Hi everybody, it's Marcy and welcome to my messier and messier craft room. Today I'm going to work on Dearjuliejulie September Stashbuster Junk Journal Challenge, and I'm working on the letter A for any roll of paper. So I'm going to jump right in and I'll explain while I'm getting started. First thing I'm going to use is some parchment paper, and unfortunately, this parchment paper is not unmarked. It's some of the, I believe it's Reynolds parchment paper, so some places it has words, it's got scissors, it's got grids, but I had used it for coffee dyeing, and it's not what I normally use, but I had in this case, so it's working. Then on this piece of cardstock, I went through my scan and cut, and on this particular one, I cut out some leaves, and as you can see now, I'm just going through. I took the leaves out and I kept the negative space. And so now I'm just going through putting glue on it, which is going to take me a second because I need to get, I want to get as much around the leaves as I can. It doesn't have to be perfect or right up next to the leaves, but I don't want it moving a lot. And on the other side of the cardstock, when I get it flipped over, you will see that I've edged the, well, that was dumb. I've edged the leaf cutouts with some gold paint. It was a paint marker. See, my art glitter glue is already drying. Okay. So what I want to do is I want to take this and I want to, as quickly as I can and as best as I can, I'll need to trim around this some, but I want to get it laid down on my parchment paper. Let's see, and then I can go back and like this little bit, this little point here, I want to get glued. So I want to check some of these spots. And get them glued down so that they don't tear. Oh, that little one needs to be secured. That one. I should have done this a little bit at a time so that my art glitter glue didn't have a chance to dry on me. Okay. So just that simple, and now I'm going to cut around it. I already forgot one thing I wanted to do to this. And this will be a side tuck, but I think using that negative space, and if you know, like I said, I cut mine on the scan and cut. You could very easily do the same thing if you have a die cutting machine, or with punches even, or for that matter, hand draw and cut out shapes. And then the little gold edging that I was talking about, I hope you can see that right around the edges. And then I did distress around the edges of my cardstock paper. And then I think do I want to add that or not? Why not? Why not? Okay, so for that, I'm going to pull out my art glitter glue, and I'm going to run some art glitter glue down the edge of this, and then I'll put the ribbon down, and then later, after the art glitter glue has had plenty of time to dry, then I'll go over and sew this edge on my sewing machine. This is just some fall trim with little owls and leaves that I had gotten at Dollar Tree. I got there early this year. I don't remember the day I was in there. I don't remember what I had gone in for, but they had just put out their fall ribbon. And I know it had been just put out because the display boxes were full. And so I went through and I grabbed one of just about everything they had. I have a lot of supplies, but fall-themed supplies specifically, I don't have a lot of. Okay, so what I will do is, like I said, once this dries, I will sew down. I'll probably sew around the entire thing. And then that will just go in as a side tuck. So then for this one, I'm going to use the same thing. I've got some more of that. Oh, there it is. It says Reynolds wrap. Some more of that parchment paper. But this time, I cut out, again using my Scan and Cut, a pumpkin. And this time what I'm going to do is I'm going to be a little smarter, and I'm actually going to use my Fabri-Tac because it won't dry. It'll give me a little more time to get it down on the paper. And this one is going to be a pocket. Okay. And again, I inked around the inside edge where the pumpkin is, and I inked around the outside edge. And I managed to, you can see the very beginnings of the writing down at this edge, but I'm okay with that. And you can see a couple of the grid lines, but nothing I can do about that. I have other parchment paper that is not marked, but it did not come from a roll. So all right. So now I need to trim this off, and that'll give that glue a second to settle. Okay. And now what I want to do is I've got these pieces. This is not this pumpkin outline. It's the same pumpkin, just a slightly bit smaller. See how that's in there? And I'm going to use it to help me place in the individual pumpkin pieces that I had cut. And when I cut these out, I don't know if you'll be able to really see it on camera, but if you can tell how matte that orange is and how the pumpkin pieces have a little more texture to them, I just took a little bit of the saffron yellow paint that I used the other day and dabbed it on to the orange paper and then inked around the edges, and that gave my pumpkin a little texture. Okay, so I don't want to leave. I think what I might do, just to keep from entirely messing this up, is I'll put just a dot of glue for each of the pieces, and then I'll pull this frame away and glue them down better. I think is probably what my best bet will be. And I could just try to line them up by eye, and that would probably be just fine. But, you know, I can't do anything the easy way. That glue is not liking that parchment paper. Well, it took the other one. All right. Try this again. Maybe I just didn't have enough on there. Okay. And this is not going to be perfect by any stretch of the imagination. And in fact, I might have been better off doing it by hand. Or just by eye, I mean. Yeah, see, my pumpkin is not lined up very well, so I hope it comes through on camera, but I really liked just the little bit of a lot of that saffron yellow that I used to add texture. A lot of the color of it sunk into the paper because I had not gessoed my paper. But so it's hard to tell that I actually used yellow, but it did, like I said, it gave my pumpkin just a little bit of texture. Alright, so that's not perfect, but you get the idea that it's supposed to be the pumpkin. And then I've got the pumpkin stem in brown cardstock. And I'm just going to pop that right in there. And again, I will go and sew around my edges, and then that will become a pocket with my parchment paper, my grungy parchment paper background on it. All right, so there's number 2. And for my third thing with any roll of paper, I am using green masking paper. Where did my... like this. And I very lightly tea-dyed it, which really didn't change the color, but it did kind of wrinkle it and give it a great crunchiness. So for that, I'm just going to make a very simple matchbook. So I've got a piece of scrapbook paper that is 3 inches wide by about 9 3/4 tall, and I scored it at 1/2 inch, and then at about 5 1/4. And I rounded these corners. I did go ahead and run my distress ink over the inside to knock back some of the white. And I went ahead and cut down, I believe there's 6 little sheets of paper to go in. But before I put it in, this paper is directional. So, of course, on the bottom, it's not upside down. Oh, that's right. Of course. On the back, it's upside down, but here it's not. Okay. Anyway, as an extra decoration, I'm going to put a little bit of lace across the bottom of this. Since I don't need it to cover the upside downness of it because it's not upside down, we're just going to call it extra decoration. Okay, and then I've got this small journal card, Fall Breeze and Autumn Leaves, that I'm going to glue onto the front. Okay, and I will go ahead and cut this off. And this. Save those little bits. And I'm going to need my stapler, and I will stack my now crinkly green masking paper right inside. Now that it's all crinkly and wavy, it's harder to stack up nice and neat and straight. Okay. And I'm going to use a couple of staples. I know a lot of people just staple right in the center. I don't know why, but I always feel the need to add more. And there we have our little matchbook cover. I need to pull that. Need to be sure it's under the lace that still isn't completely dry. And now I'm just going to use my bone folder and I'd already folded it here, but now that I've added paper and stuff, it's changed it a tiny bit, so I just kind of want to push that back a hair shade. And there is my little matchbook notepad, my pocket, and my side pocket, all using parchment paper and green masking paper. So until next time, everyone, I wish you all a wonderfully happy, crafty day, and I will see you all very soon. Bye-bye.